Good morning. How are we? Lovely to have you all with us. Thank you so much for joining us. It's Monday, and we are going to be cooking live with our talented chef Livia from her kitchen in Bologna, which is looking forward to see what she's going to be cooking up for us today. And also because it's Monday, we've got our cookbook giveaway. So we are going to be giving away this lovely cookbook from Emiko Davis, Tortellini at Midnight. So if you'd like to win a copy of the cookbook, then just pop cookbook in the comments below on Facebook. Kieran's manning Facebook as well. So any messages, any questions, please just fire away. And let's see what Livia is cooking for us today. Livia, there we are. Hello.
Ecco qua. Hello, hello.
How are you?
How are you?
Yeah, we're good. We're
fine.
Good. Another sunny day with you. Sunny spring day.
Another very sunny day. It's especially sunny at this time when we do the live. Like all the light comes in. I hope it will be fine for the light.
Yeah.
Anyway, everything is fine. It's okay because it's very warm. Even 20 degrees. So we're getting ready here for people to come and visit. Okay.
Yeah. Got some nice messages. Yeah. Liz is saying hello. Morning, Liz. Anton saying hello, hello, hello. Nice to see you.
Hello. Hello, everyone. It makes me very happy and excited and looking forward for this moment because it's one of the only moments when we can be in contact with other people. Yeah, actually, I've been very busy with the lessons this weekend because I've done 2 on Sunday and then we've done 2 aperitivo, 1 on Friday and 1 on Saturday. And on yesterday, Sunday, I've done the new recipes, Lon. And well, I don't know because I've sent them the others. I don't know if you know the recipe that we're doing, but the new recipes I've suggested to try to do the focaccia genovese from Genova. So I got some here because obviously it's nicer when you have it straight away, you know, as soon as it. But focaccia genovese is different from usual. Very thin, has to be very thin and very. I've studied a lot to learn how to do this recipe, and it came out very well. So I'm very happy. It was a positive result.
Super. And I think you had. Did you have a private group cooking yesterday? You had a exclusive.
Yes, that's you know about that. Yeah, it was a private group of that's exciting. They were really nice, and they were a village. So I mean, the inhabitants of a village, about 15 persons, that get together once a week and do these activities online to keep together. So they told me they've done some Indian lessons, cooking, and then they decided to do some Italian. And they were all with their family for the evening dinner. And there were 15, so it was really great. Yeah.
Really busy. That's great. So tell me, Livia, today, what are we cooking? I see eggs. Might it be pasta?
I know, you can see eggs, actually, they come from the shop nearby that they deliver at home. So, and they're very fresh and they are very dark yolk. So it's going to be pasta, and this is a pasta which is actually really just from my area, so in the town where I live, which is called Faenza. So even if you just go, let's say, 20 kilometers far away, you don't find it easily there. This pasta is called Curzul. Okay, so it's very typical from here. I could describe it as a square-side spaghetti, let's say, so similar to spaghetti alla chitarra, if some of you know it, but they are cut and done by hand. So they are my favorite pasta. It's easy because you don't have to roll the dough very thin. So I think anyone can do it, you know, try to do it. They are a bit thicker and they are very similar to leather shoe laces. Let's say that's why they're called Curzul, because Curzul is the dialect name for leather shoe laces. Okay. So it's our dialect.
Yeah, but they don't taste like leather shoelaces.
I hope they don't. There is also a typical way to cook them, to serve them, which is with shallot. And this is a special shallot, which has a DOP production. So the origin is really local and just in this area, which is slightly different from usual. Okay, so this is the shallot, let's say. So it's if we compare it to a French shallot, that's the size and that's different color also. Okay, and also you can make this pasta with fresh shallot when it's in season in summer. But I will tell you about this in a little while. Okay, so I'm taking this opportunity of a lesson about pasta to tell you a few information about making pasta. Okay, so actually making egg pasta dough, let's say Emiliana dough, which is from my region, typical from my region, actually really from this part of the region. So Emiliana dough comes from Emilia Romagna, as the name sounds like. So just here we can do it, you know, and we can do it properly. Yeah, no pressure. Nobody will be able to do it. Okay, and so the amounts, the ingredients that I will tell you about are the ones that are traditionally used here since many years. And I will tell you a few information about the flour, a few information about what the tools you need to use to make pasta. I think a lot of our followers, or you know, our friends, guests, friends that have done my lessons before, I've heard this already. But I thought it was good to keep these as a record, you know, on Facebook, on our
a little reminder. Exactly. I'm sure actually, please let us know who's not made pasta. Maybe that's the bigger question. I think a lot of them probably have. But this is a different method. And always, Kieran, we've got the recipe. So if you just, Kieran's going to pop the recipe in the comments as well. So if you do want to follow the recipe, you can make it at home, which is great.
Okay, so I think I should start, and you can talk about whatever you like while I'm doing. I will start making the dough, then I will roll a dough that I've already prepared this morning, okay? And then I will make the sauce, which is quite simple because it's just really based on shallot and tomatoes, okay? Great. So I will start with the dough, if it's fine for you, Lorna.
Yeah, perfect.
Can you hear me well? Okay. So to make Emiliana dough, you need to have 100 grams of flour, each egg that you're going to prepare. And keep in mind that 100 grams of flour and 1 egg is enough for 1 person. Making a small dough is always a little bit more complicated than making a bigger one. So I'm going to do a dough of 2 eggs that should be enough for 2 persons at least, even 3, I think. The kind of flour that we are using for this dough is 00 flour. In this case, I'm using a pasta flour, which is typically used here from grannies in my town right now. So I've learned from them how to use this pasta. As you can see, it's called pasta premium. Spadoni is the local meal from here. And this is a mixture actually of semola, durum wheat flour, and 00 tender grain flour. So most of it is 00 flour. And a little part is semola flour that will give the dough a bit of more thickness, which is nicer when you eat the pasta. It will be for sure less chewy and better flavor. Okay, so I'm going to make a pasta. There are other 2 important things that you should have. Very important to have a mattarello, which means rolling pin, okay, and to have a big one if you can, okay. Mine is super big. I think most of the persons that are following us have seen it already, and they were shocked in the beginning. And the perfect rolling pin, mattarello, has to be made with cherry wood, okay? And it needs to be at least 80 centimeters long. Mine is 80 centimeters, and it's not cherry wood. I usually here you inherit the rolling pin from your grandmother or from your family, from someone, and you keep it like it's holy. I don't know, like sake, non so come si dice. So I got my grandmother one, but I don't use it when I work, let's say. Well, if I really need to make a good pasta, I use it. Anyway, this is not cherry wood. Cherry wood would make it just more resistant, thicker wood. It lasts even longer. Then you need a wooden board. And most of you already know many things about wooden board because you have learned doing my lessons that it's very important to have even quite a big one. It will make your practice easier. In the past, wooden boards used to be kept under the table. So the big tables from Emilia Romagna were having a space under to fit in the wooden board that was used very often in the house. A wooden board should be beech wood. Okay. Okay. Anyway, now we're going to start. The reason why we're using wood, it's because wood will make the dough more rough. So it will give texture to the dough. So you need to have a wooden surface and also to use a wood rolling pin because that will make the surface of your pasta rough and less not shiny and in, let's say, I don't know how to describe it. So, but for sure it will give it a different consistency that will make the sauce stick better. So a pasta made by hand and a pasta made and rolled by hand and a pasta both made with the stainless steel machine is completely different. It got a different texture and the sauce there will not stick as good as it will in my pasta. So if you get used to make your pasta by hand, you will never leave it. It's because it's completely different bite when you have a pasta that you have bought. Okay. Anyway, now I'm going to start.
You're convincing us, Olivia. You're convincing us, Livia, that we all got to make our own pasta. That's it.
Yes. Also, that you all have to buy a wooden board and a rolling pin and a long one. So now I'm going to start. Okay. So we need, in this case, as I was saying, I'm doing 2 eggs. So 200 grams of flour and 2 eggs. Make a wide well. Doesn't have to be narrow. Then we take 2 eggs. I'm going to take these beautiful, really just done eggs, which usually have a very dark yolk, as you can see, because as we were saying some other times, in my region, chicken are corn-fed on purpose to have a darker yolk. Okay. So meanwhile, you start working the egg, mixing the egg like you want to make scrambled eggs. So the eggs have to be really well scrambled. Okay. Then, aspetta, I'm trying. Okay. Then you start, when it's all well scrambled, you start flicking in the flour. Okay, you mix in the flour.
You make that look so easy, Livia, and I know from experience it's not.
You have to know, it's very easy. If you have the right tools and if you practice more than once, you will find it very easy. I mean, and actually it gives you a lot of joy, I think, satisfaction. So it makes you feel, it makes you have practice like you went to the gym, because it takes quite a lot of energy. And also it will give you a lot of satisfaction. And it's not true that you don't have time to do it, because you can do it on Sunday, you can do it, even just half an hour. It doesn't take a long time.
I think at the moment, Livia, is we've all got quite a lot of time actually, so there's no excuses at all.
Exactly.
I see we've got Antonio with us, and the cookbook that we're giving away, just quick reminder, the Tortellini at Midnight. I really like it because it's not just a cookbook; it's actually a bit of a travel guide. And she's given recipes from Puglia, from Piemonte, and also from Tuscany. And I've got this one for Antonio. She's got the orecchietti with the cimi di rapa.
Ah,
really nice.
Okay. So what's the name of the book? Sorry, Lorna,
it's called Tortellini at Midnight. And
wow.
She's Emiko Davis. She's lovely, actually. I interviewed her. I'll put the link on the comments below. I interviewed her last couple of months ago. She's Australian, but she's been living in Italy for about 15 years, and she's a great foodie. She's also got a lovely Instagram account, actually. If anyone follows her on Instagram, she's got some lovely pictures and recipes, and she's got 2 little girls who obviously just love food, and they're often busy cooking with her, so really nice. And this cookbook is their second cookbook, and as I say, it's just about her traveling through Puglia, Tuscany and Piemonte with some really lovely recipes and just some gorgeous pictures. So yeah, if anyone would like to win the cookbook, just pop cookbook down in the comments, and Kieran will draw the winner at the end of the live.
Right. So also Piedmont, yeah, and also she also is going to Piedmont, right? So I guess there is a special recipe about tortellini there in that book.
Yes, there is. Yes, and she's also got some really nice ideas for what you can cook at Easter, for example. She gives Easter recipes, Christmas recipes. It's lovely, and it's a really nice sort of tales of when she's traveling around these places. So yeah, I really like it. It's a lovely cookbook. Yeah, there's your tortellini there, Livia.
Yeah. Ah, okay.
Really nice. Really nice. So yeah, if anyone likes cookbook, just pop cookbook in the comments, and we'll pick a winner at the end. So yeah,
very good.
That's nice. How's the pasta coming, Livia?
Allora, now I'll show you. The pasta is going well. Obviously, never risk to ruin your board, which is considered very important. You don't have to dice anything else that making pasta. You don't have to do anything else on the board except for pasta. And so when you scrape it, use a scraper or use a fork, but don't use a knife. my pasta is going well, usually the pasta have to rest at least half an hour in a plastic bag before rolling it. And this is because pasta needs to settle, the gluten needs to settle, the gluten have to start developing, and it has to start developing a gluten network that will give extensibility to our pasta. So in each pasta, there are proteins, in any kind of pasta that you got. Pastas are all very different because of the amount of protein that they contain. The pasta flour that I'm using, I think got 11% of protein. You can always check the amount of protein of your pasta if you look at on the side. The amount of protein is the amount of gluten that the pasta will have. If a flour don't have any proteins, it will not be able, you will not be able to roll it. And for an egg pasta, it's very important to be able to roll it. So the amount of gluten is important. That's explain you why if you do pasta with rice flour, you find it very difficult. It doesn't even stay together. So a pasta that could be good, a flour that could be good to make pasta, have to have a percentage of protein, which is between 9 and 11%. Less than that, your dough will not stick together. More than that, the dough will be very elastic and so difficult to roll. So this range of protein between 9 and 11% make your pasta easily rolling. So now there is elasticity in the dough. After half an hour of resting in a plastic bag, the dough will be extensible, which is what I'm looking for to not to struggle too much to roll the pasta. You can make this dough even a day before, keep it in the fridge, and roll it the next morning. Okay. So
I remember, was it not you? Somebody once said it has to be as smooth as a baby's bottom of the pasta. The pasta dough, that's how you know it's ready.
Exactly. Yeah, it needs to be very smooth and look smooth. But either you work it for longer, so you work it really for, let's say, half an hour, and then that way you activate the gluten network yourself, working it for longer, or you just let it rest a little bit, and then the gluten will develop by itself, just resting. So you have to put it together, and even if it's a bit, you know, not very, very smooth, like the bottom of a baby, it will be in a short time. And now I'll show you the one that I've made this morning. As you can see, is very smooth, so it's different from this one. As you can see, this morning I didn't have the proper eggs because here it's quite difficult to get food at home. So I've got delivery now, so that's the right color. A pasta that have this color is much more satisfactory than a pasta that has a more pale color. So I suggest you to get your own chicken, feed them with in your gardens, and then feed them with corn, and then you can have the proper eggs that will give you a lot of satisfaction. Okay. So now, before rolling it, I will start the sauce out, which, as I was saying, is very simple, and I've already diced the ingredients. So I'm going over there.
Perfect. And just remind me the name of the sauce again, Livia.
The sauce is called allo scalogno, and scalogno is shallot. So it's actually these ingredients. So the scalogno that I'm using is the local one, but you can use any shallot. The local one is quite sweet, and you can even use the fresh one that looks like a spring shallot. Okay, so the fresh scalogno is more sweet. You find it pretty sweet in summer. Okay, so it's quite sweet and better.
I'm just laughing, Livia. Anton's just said, "Can we win a chicken next week, please, Lauren?" I don't think so.
See. No, Anton, you have to practice. You have to try to do your pasta. I want to see Anton from live. I want to have Anton on one of our holidays, so I can, you know, in a week time, I'm sure I will make him learn how to make this pasta. So olive oil, okay. When the pan is warm, I'm going to cook the shallot, and I'm going to also add a bit of chili. For this pasta, In my town, they also add a bit of pancetta, diced very small, and some chili. Scalogno can be really strong flavor, maybe worse than garlic in terms of your mouth, how your mouth will feel, you know, after you've used it. But if I would have done it with some pancetta, I would have also add a little bit of wine, and then chilies, and then I would have had
but this is
some wine. Yeah, sorry.
This recipe that you're doing just now, Livia, that is just like super typical from your region. It's not, you know, it's not coming from, anywhere else. And it just strikes me, has it got much flavor, or is it quite bland as a sauce?
No, as I was saying, shallot is very, very strong. This one that is local, very strong flavor, and you can, I don't know how to describe it. You can taste it also the day after in your mouth. I don't know, it's very persistent and it's very strong. And usually when you eat it for a few days, you will taste this shallot. So I think it's a slightly different, maybe variety from the one that you got. Now I'm going to break a little bit the chili. We don't want to burn the shallot.
And obviously, somebody, you know, at home, perhaps, you know, getting these types of shallots, would you suggest maybe in the recipe to add in maybe pancetta or something else then?
Yes, I think you should do the way some grannies prepare it here. So using a bit of pancetta. The pancetta has to be sliced very, very thin, like, let's say, minced together with the shallot, and it will add a little bit of flavor. It's not a big amount of pancetta. For sure, doesn't have to be a big amount, and you don't have to have a pancetta with some shallot, but have to have just a slightly, I mean, it is more important the fat the pancetta will release in the sauce, more than the bite of a pancetta in your mouth.
Yeah. Manette was saying that she made one of the pasta granny's recipes with the shallots and the sausages. Yeah, I saw that recipe too, Manette, and it was really amazing. And the shallots.
Yeah, that one that she made, if it's in the book, is from let's say, my neighbor. I mean, she is one of my friend's grandmother, and we film her already twice doing different things.
And the sausages, were they just like local sausages?
If there are sausages, yes, it's always pork sausages. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay, now we don't want to burn it at all, but we want just to soften it. So I'm going to add the tomatoes, as always, checking that. I think these are not plum tomatoes, but they are cubes. Come si dice, Lorna? Diced tomatoes, I don't know, like it. So now the shallot is ready. Again, this sauce, like previously we've done some other recipes similar, doesn't have to be too dark. It doesn't have to be very colored. So you don't have to use passata, but it's always better to use plum tomatoes that cook for a long time and give some color, but it doesn't have to be a very dark red sauce for this pasta. So that's why it's better to use a plum tomatoes instead of passata, because passata is more concentrated and would release too much more color.
If anyone's got any questions, please just pop questions in the comments and we can ask Livia. It seems just a really simple sauce. Really.
Yeah, salt, obviously pepper.
And that's it. Quick and easy.
That's it, yeah. If I would have had pancetta, as I was saying, I would have had also some wine. And here in my town, they usually add some red wine because it helps to get a bit of more color for this sauce.
Great.
Okay, I'm going to dilute it a little bit, make it a bit thinner because it's cooking quite fast. You know, when we do this recipe, we try to do it also faster than usual, obviously. So since it's going quite fast, I'm going to add a bit of the boiling water here where I'm going to cook the pasta, just to make it bubble a little bit lower. And I've turned down the flame. And now we can roll the pasta, Lauren. We leave this here to cook. I've turned up the flame. Okay.
That's great. Val's just saying that's her sausage. She's going to cook that tonight for tea. It's great to get some new inspiration, isn't it? I think that's the problem just now. Everyone's thinking, oh, what we're going to have for tea tonight. It's good to get some ideas, Livia. I think Antonio's still here as well, and I was looking at the recipe here for it's like custard tarts from Puglia, and she's calling them bocconotti, which wasn't a word I'd heard before. Bocconotti, and bocco meaning a mouthful. That was Emiko's recipe for little custard.
Yeah, I've heard it. Maybe Antonio knows. Yeah, I've heard about it. Allora, meanwhile, I'm going to start rolling, Lauren, and just to show you, I mean, for the one that have done these lessons, they have learned it very well. But allora, the way to make pasta easier is to have an ergonomic position. So you should not be uncomfortable when you roll the pasta. So you should have a table which is up to the height of your hip. Otherwise, you could open your legs to go a little bit lower if the table is too high. But the best way to roll out a pasta without having to make to a big effort or without having pain the next day is not to have to bend your back too much. So let's say up to here has to be the level of your table. Then you will have to place the rolling pin in the center of the dough, and you have to roll it out, leaving a lip here, and then doing a quarter turn of the dough. Roll out this bit from the middle outwards until you get to the edge. Leave a lip, you can see it, yeah, and do another quarter turn. You keep doing quarter turns because that way you will be able to get a round shape of the dough, checking that the thickness is all even. So the reason why the pasta usually are rolled around, it's because the thickness of the pasta can be checked better. It needs to be even, so I need to do each really little bit of the pasta. So keep turning round without going over the edge. And that's because we don't want to create wrinkles or ridges on the sides. So for now, I'm still trying not to go over the edge, and I keep turning round. So this is just a bit when you try to flat out your dough.
Perfect. Okay. You make it look so easy, Livia. It's incredible.
It's very easy, especially if the dough has been resting. So sometimes, most of the time, I think the mistake that we do is that we make the dough and we roll it just after. And you will find it very difficult, and the dough will be really very difficult to roll because there is too much elasticity and not extensibility yet. Instead, we're looking for the extensibility of the dough, which is what is important.
Perfect.
So,
yeah, that's great.
And then I will show you two other important things of the rolling pin. Sorry, Lorna. A real proper rolling pin, it can be made only in my region. So when you find it very thin, usually, for example, it's from Sicily and it's the back of a broom, traditionally, where they don't have a lot of pasta that are rolled by hand. When they use the egg, they just use one egg for a big amount of semola flour, because egg and semola flour give too much thickness of the dough, makes the dough too hard and difficult to roll, because semola flour has a lot of protein and it makes it too elastic. Okay, so if you have to learn how to roll a pasta, egg pasta, don't go to the south. Sorry, I have to say, I have to protect our traditions here.
Oh my goodness.
The real rolling pin is from here, is 80 centimeters cherry wood, and also got a point here, which is used to perfect the round shape when you do a mistake, and this one to hold it on the wall, and is never shorter than this side. In any other region, when we film with pasta grannies, wherever I go, nobody, unless it's in Emilia-Romagna, nobody is able to do it, or even Piedmont, they use the machine, they have a small rolling pin, because they don't have a big tradition how to make pasta, to make pasta, egg pasta.
How many, out of curiosity, Livia, how many pasta grannies have you actually met over the last few years?
A lot, because it's 5 years that you have introduced me to Vicky, and we have filmed about 300, and maybe more than 200. And in Faenza, my town and my area around here, we have film in Emilia Romagna 40.
Okay, well, and that was quite a controversial statement, Livia, you made about other regions rolling pasta. But I suppose since you've seen over 300 pasta grannies, then maybe we'll let you off with that.
Yes, no, I'm sorry, I didn't want to do a controversial. It's just I'm talking about my experience. Obviously, I don't want to. But me and Vicky, we're always shocked when we go to other regions. It's always a little bit like, you know, they're going to roll it by hand. They make the dough with a machine or bimbi or whatever. We like. Because when we film in Emilia Romagna, everyone has a big board and a big rolling pin. Even men can do it, and we do it very often. But that's because Emiliana dough is from here. So it's right that you have to go to the region where you want to learn something from. You don't have to go and learn in. This is my very close mind idea, but that's what I'm doing. I like to travel because I like to learn from the others, you know, and I think we can learn just from older person because they bring a lot of tradition in our diary, let's say. You know, so. Comunque. So now, you see, when there is a bit that is not round, I will stretch it a bit with a point.
Yeah, perfect. Can I just, I think we're sort of finishing up. Maybe just a quick reminder if anyone would like the cookbook, just to pop cookbook in the comments below, and Kieran will
yes, sure.
draw and choose a winner at the end. Okay?
Yeah, because this is the right thickness. Obviously, the dough should rest a little bit before cutting it, but I'm not going to. Are we in a rush? Yeah, we have to finish. No, okay. No, just to know if I can roll it for a few seconds or. Okay. Okay, so this is the right thickness. It's always better to cook a pasta that has been drying a bit because that will make it less chewy. If the pasta is very soft like this, it could be a little bit chewy. So every pasta before being cooked should a little bit rest and dry. Okay, so this is the thickness, very thick, so it will make everyone think that you can do it. I'm sure you can do it. Okay, so that's, you see, out of 2 eggs, it's quite a small and thick dough to make curzul, which have to be similar to square-side spaghetti, as I was saying. Okay, I'm going to sprinkle some flour, and then I'm going to fold it. Like if you were to make tagliatelle. Yeah. And I take my knife.
You always just make it look so simple, Livia. I'm sure if I tried it, it wouldn't be as simple as that.
No, I'm sure you can do it. You've been seeing a lot of people making pasta. Yeah. Okay, so and now I'm going to cut it really a few millimeters width. So thick and quite thin, not wide, let's say. Obviously, it's not wide because otherwise thick and wide would be difficult to cook. Okay, this is the moment when you can see the light of the sun on the board. Sorry, I don't know if it confuses the images, but okay, now I will show you. Okay, I should have waited, you know, because it's still a little bit very soft, but this is the pasta and the thickness of the pasta, as you can see it. Okay.
Yeah.
Am I being very typical Italian? Like typical Italian that say we can do it better, the others cannot do it?
Livia, no. Controversy for a Monday lunchtime. No, Livia, we all know you, so no, we.
Because it's very, I don't know, like I cannot say when I go to, I don't know, Sicily and I see ragu is made in 15 minutes and I'm like, it cannot taste the same for sure. And then it's, you know, or if I go to Puglia and Antonio make, now, so Antonio now can reply about this, make the lasagna and the lasagna sheet, and they're different. Because they have a tradition to use a different flour. And the flour that is produced in the south of Italy is done with flour that makes semola flour. And that's a flour that contains much more much more protein and gives too much elasticity to be able to be used with chicken. So Well, I will cook this pasta now.
That's one of the amazing things about Italy is just all that variety, the regional differences, whether it's how you make your pasta or your sauces, and that's why we all love Italy. So yeah, it's all part of the charm of Livia.
I don't know. I'm sorry, I don't know. Anyway, comunque, you see now it's cooking. I put some rock salt in the water while it was boiling. Yeah. Okay, you just have to cook a few extra minutes because it's a bit thicker than the other, than if it was like a tagliatelle. Okay, but okay, we'll boil. Now when it boils, just let's say 2 minutes and it's ready.
And is it true, Livia, with this kind of pasta dish, you don't put any parmesan on it? It's not allowed, or?
Yes, really, this is because it's very strong flavor already, and parmesan would make it really strong. I don't know, like even stronger. So, and traditionally here, I don't know other reasons, but you know, when you have a tradition, you usually stick to it without really thinking too much. But I think if you do it, there's not a problem. I mean, if you add parmesan, it's fine. It's just to say that here in my town, where we also have food festival about this pasta. So c'è la festa, la sagra dei Curzul, for example, or we have a food festival about everything, and those are the places where you should go to have the best quality pasta. Because usually food festivals are done for charity, and for example, from the church or things like that, and a lot of grannies that go to the church would make the pasta for free for the food festival, and so they meet up usually, let's say, a month before, and they prepare pasta every night, every evening, all together in a room, and they get organized to have enough pasta for thousands of people that will go eat there. So it's fresh pasta made by hand by a person that knows how to do it.
Yeah, I think we've all seen, I think a lot of that's been filmed like with on the Jamie Oliver series in Italy. We've seen all the pasta grannies and all the festivals. It's really common. Yeah. Just a quick question. Val was saying, could you use pancetta instead of chili?
Yes, you can use pancetta for sure, but I suggest you to dice it very small if you can. Maybe kind of dice it very small, even in a mixer. Put it together with the shallot. It has to be very diced, and then add it at the beginning. After the shallot, just go straight adding the pancetta, and that's difficult. So you are right. You're fine. Okay, so I'm going now to add to the sauce. I always like to finish cooking the pasta in the sauce. I think it gives much more flavor.
Yeah.
If the sauce is quite liquid and runny, then it will make a better flavor. It will give more flavor to the pasta. I suggest you to cook the sauce longer, obviously, and make also maybe let the pasta rest a little bit before cooking it.
I just got a quick message there. Julie's just joined us from Ohio, from the States. Hello, Julie.
Oh, ciao, Julie. I know, yeah, Julie is very far away. And I guess she just woke up.
Yeah.
She just woke up.
We're not thinking about lunch just yet, but you've given her some ideas for lunch. I was thinking, Livia, it's a good tip, isn't it, about taking the pasta to the sauce, rather than, I think often in the UK, you might take the sauce to the pasta when you're preparing it at the end.
Yeah, no, I like to do it this way. I've learned it in restaurants, working in restaurants. It's better sauté. It gives, there are certain sauces that are better if they get really into the pasta. Let's say they are sauté. When we've done ragu sauce, I remember we have served it on top, right? So that's the tradition, because that's really quite a thick ragu sauce. And it can be also, in the past, it used to be used as a meat course itself. So that's why it can be served on top, and the pasta is more delicate. This pasta is thick, and these kind of spaghetti are not breaking. Okay, so I think now it's fine. As you can see, the surface is rough, and that's the right surface. Surface thickness that a pasta should have.
I can smell it. I can almost smell it and taste it.
Okay, so I'm going to leave this here, and I'm going to dish over here. Okay.
Perfect. That's great.
So
I just put in the comments, Kieran's chosen the winner, and Anton's going to get the book. So we couldn't send you a chicken, Anton, but we're going to send you a cookbook. That's good. Tomorrow, which is great. And you can
Very good, Anton.
Yeah, really
Anton
good.
is always following. Like,
Yeah.
not just Anton, a lot of others.
Yeah.
Okay. So you can also add some basil if you have it. Today I don't have it. So, but actually the traditional way is really just this very tasty shallot sauce. Okay.
Yeah, lovely. Really nice.
Ecco qua.
Delicious. And baked in sunshine as well. Looks very.
Yeah.
This is great. It's delicious. Thank
Very
you so
good.
much. Yeah, delicious. Any questions?
Amazing.
Anybody just pops through some questions? Yeah, that was a busy morning. That was quick, Livia. Less than sort of 35 minutes from start to finish. Well done, you, from making pasta.
Yeah. I thought it was good to do at least one lesson that can stay as a record when we talk about pasta from my region. Egg pasta.
I think we all got that, which is super. And next week, Livia, what I had a thought. I don't know what you think. I'm not sure if it's allowed. What about a salsa verde?
Salsa verde, yes, salsa verde have to be done with the boiled, usually it's served with boiled meat here in my region. Perfect. Yeah. Otherwise, even the lemon pesto, or we can start here. Here is very warm, like over 20 really. So we can start making spring recipes, I think, with no problems because it's really warm already. Perfect. Salsa verde, fine, yeah.
I was thinking, could you use salsa verde like with like vegetables, or you could use it with meat, or like a real salsa verde sauce. I think you put anchovies in it. I wasn't, so
anchovies, capers, parsley. I've done it actually as a lesson, the Christmas lesson, because it's usually served with boiled meat. So we've done satellite and perfect.
Perfect. That's great. Well, listen, lovely to see everybody. Thank you so much for joining, all your nice comments. And it's great, everyone, no matter where you are, whether in the States or in the UK, you can all get together online and learn from Livia and her amazing knowledge. What Livia just doesn't know about pasta and all Italian food.
That's for sure.
Thanks again, Livia. We'll see you next week and see everyone next week.
Have a good day.
Yeah, take care. Bye-bye.